This recipe is for lavash or flatbread, and it uses the food processor, and you need to preheat your oven to 475 and line 2 baking sheets with aluminum foil and spray it with nonstick spray. Then in our food processor, we'll put 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour, a half a cup of oats, and this can be rolled oats, like the whole flake kind like I'm using here, or it can be quick oats, and then some seasonings. And I've put them all together in one bowl to measure them out. But the seasonings are 1/4 teaspoon non-iodized salt or kosher salt if you're on the low iodine diet. It could be regular salt if you're not on the low iodine diet. 1 tablespoon of onion flakes, 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and we'll just add that to the processor. And that's our dry ingredients. And to that, you add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. I've already put the first one in. Here goes the second one. And then we'll put on the lid of the processor. We want to process this just until it's mixed, and then we'll be adding water through the tube, up to 6 tablespoons of water until the dough forms a ball. So here we go. Okay, I've added the 6 tablespoons of water, and it's made a nice dough ball in the processor. Now I'm going to take that out and form one big dough ball and divide that into 18 small balls. And you do that by dividing it in half, and then each half you make into thirds, and so on. And you just break it down into 18 small balls of dough to get ready to roll out. And I just kind of used a large mixing bowl to work it with my hands to make it into a dough ball. It's not a huge amount, it's just fits comfortably in the palm of my hand here. And I'm ready to divide this down into smaller pieces. Here I've used the bench scraper, that tool right there, to cut the dough ball in half and then in thirds again. I'm trying to make equal sized dough balls. And then I will cut each one of these into 3 pieces to come up with the 18 little dough balls to roll. There's my 18 dough ball portions. Try and make them as uniform as possible. Like I got kind of a small one there and a big one there, but you want to make them as even as possible so they bake evenly. And I'm just going to set these aside in the dough bowl while I flour that surface to get ready for the rolling pin. Here I've just used a rolling pin to roll out one of the dough balls into a long thin piece, and I'll just transfer that to the baking sheet that is lined with aluminum foil and spritzed with cooking spray. And on that, it's optional if you want to add seasonings on the top, but you can use dill weed or sprinkle some more dried onion flakes or more sesame seeds, which are really good, but I'm getting low on them, or basil, or even kosher salt if you want a salty cracker. And just keep repeating, rolling out the dough balls until you have your cookie sheet full. Okay, so here is a baking sheet full of completed, rolled out and seasoned lavash, and it's rolled out very thin. It's going to turn out like a crispy cracker. And I'm going to bake them in a 475 oven for 5 to 6 minutes until golden brown. You want to keep an eye on them. It's a very high temperature oven, so they'll go quickly. And there is the pan of finished baked lavash, and the edges are all nice and golden, so I know that they're totally done. And while those were baking, it just took me that long to roll out the last few remaining dough balls and season them and get them ready for the next one. So these ones are about to go in. Okay, so I've got the first batch cooling on a wire rack. I just took the second batch out of the oven, and I'm letting that cookie sheet cool off a little bit before I handle it and get those onto another wire rack to cool off a little more. And as soon as I can handle them, I'm going to enjoy them with the hummus that I made earlier. But for people on the low iodine diet where you can't really buy crackers, there's no salt-free crackers at the grocery store. You know, you can make your own and control the ingredients, including using non-iodized salt. And so this is fine for the low iodine diet. And you can enjoy these as crackers with, you know, soup or salad or spreads or dips of any kind. But again, I love it with the hummus, very flavorful. Thank you for learning about Lavash. Okay, these are all cooled and I have them on a serving plate. And I should probably mention a couple things. If you're not eating them all right away and you want to store them, keep them in an airtight container so that they don't get, you know, soft and mushy. And also, like I sprinkled on my toppings, the seasonings on top, but if you want them to stick better and like be incorporated a little more into the cracker, while you're rolling out the dough ball, if you want to you know, use the rolling pin to kind of press the seasonings into the dough, that's a possibility too, and that way it doesn't fall off as much. Just a couple tips in case you prefer that type of a cracker. So enjoy!